We're now 17 days deep into the Atlantic hurricane season, and not a tropical wave was stirring out there. That Atlantic subtropical high pressure, I put out a story for you all on over at clickorlando.com. You could probably find the video somewhere floating around next to this one that I'm putting out today. It's keeping things fairly quiet, suppressed, and rather windy through the tropics, at least on the Atlantic side. We have easterly winds that are just absolutely ripping off the coast of Africa, through the Atlantic, across the Lesser Antilles, and then over Central America into the Eastern Pacific, where one of these features has now taken on the name Erick. This is an infrared shot of Tropical Storm Erick this morning. Max sustained winds at 40 miles an hour, but this is becoming a bit more concerning for our folks down there in southern and central Mexico. Now, obviously, this isn't going to play a role in our weather in central Florida. We are safe and sound. Again, the Atlantic, you could hear the crickets. You could hear a pin drop out there. But for our folks down there, especially in the Acapulco, Mexico area, they've been given consecutive black eyes by the hurricane season, not only from 2023 with Otis, but again with John last hurricane season. And now Erick looks to try to do something fairly similar. This has the potential of becoming our strongest hurricane in the northern hemisphere of the year, so far anyways. Obviously, we're still very early into both hurricane seasons, even the Western Pacific. Obviously, we still have to get things going, but regardless, looking at this storm right now, it is small. It's compact in comparison to a few of its counterparts that have formed since the Eastern Pacific season began. Barbara is currently the first hurricane in the Northern Hemisphere, one of the latest to form, as a matter of fact, but it didn't quite do very much. It stayed well off the coast of Mexico, and it fizzled out just as fast as it acquired hurricane strength. Erick looks to kind of do something a little different. In fact, some of the Hurricane Center computer models, the HAFS A and B, suggest there is a much greater likelihood this could go into a phase of rapid intensification before making landfall somewhere in the immediate vicinity of Acapulco. You can see here I have the water temperatures overlaid with the projected path from National Hurricane Center, with a max sustained peak wind of around 110 miles an hour. That is right on the threshold of major hurricane status. And National Hurricane Center has been discussing behind the scenes they may still be on the conservative side. So there is a really good chance that Erick could further consolidate through the day today, hit that rapid intensification phase before sunset, and then really take advantage of what's called the diurnal maximum. It's kind of the opposite with tropical cyclones, excuse me. With our daytime thunderstorms, you've probably heard us mentioning afternoon heating, a little bit of moisture gets your thunderstorms going. It's the opposite with tropical features. They insulate heat towards the ground level because of all that cloud cover. So it traps warmth beneath the surface or beneath the atmosphere so it can't escape when the sun sets. And that's why it's called the maximum. We actually get more strengthening from tropical cyclones overnight than we usually do during the day. Obviously, it's going to be negligible if you're over really good conditions, warm waters, great subsurface ocean energy for these storms to breed off of. And, obviously the upper levels also have to work in its favor with that divergent flow. In the article, I kind of broke down what that means. You spread the air out, which helps to instigate a little more lift, and it keeps these systems breathing. It's like an exhaust on your car. The more that exhaust is free flowing, the more horsepower you build. And that's why National Hurricane Center is looking at this like, hey, we could possibly have our first major hurricane of the year out there just off the coast of Mexico before landfall. I will say, over the last 18 hours or so, the last 3 to 4 model runs, looking at these track models, the infamous spaghetti plots, they have rapidly shifted off towards the left, further towards the west, putting Acapulco far more into the danger zone, if you will, of this approaching hurricane. It will have achieved hurricane strength on its final approach. We're going to watch this very closely. It seems its attempt to cross over into our area, the Gulf, has dwindled. That high pressure is just not relaxing. It's not going to let anything come our way, so we are protected for the time being. So now we have to watch this very carefully. I'll switch us over to the GFS, take us full screen once again, and you can see as we go through today and tonight, this system is forecast to become a hurricane approaching Category 2 intensity, possibly Category 3. Unfortunately, Our in-house program doesn't have access to the HAFS A and B hurricane models nor the HWAR for all the different high-resolution tropical models that National Hurricane Center utilizes. They're projecting a Category 3 before landfall. So we really have to pay close attention to this. We really need to all keep our fingers crossed that we get the best possible solution, the best possible outcome with this storm over the next 48 to 72 hours. The waters do get colder as it continues northwestward. Perhaps that'll work in our favor before this thing can really shrink down further in size and spin even faster and then make landfall somewhere near that heavily tourist attraction area. Because that's another thing, too. We're in summer vacation, so we may even have some Floridians out there right now trying to take advantage of what is good weather that could possibly transition into a not-so-good scenario.